Go by John Clellon Holmes was the first book to chronicle the Beat Generation. Before even Jack Kerouac, Go was published before On the Road. And Kerouac actually wrote in a letter to John Clellon Holmes, "Now I want to write to you about the Beat Generation, or simply the Beat ones. Your book. You did the honest thing, the big thing, the good thing." There's also a disclaimer at the front of Go telling us that the characters are fictitious and any resemblance to people living or dead, etc., etc. But in the introduction, Holmes actually spells out who the characters are. Jack Kerouac is Gene Pasternak. Neil Cassidy is Hart Kennedy. And Hart Kennedy is a name I love. I want to use it, or a variation on it in one of my stories if I can. And Allen Ginsberg is David Stofsky, and there's references to William Burroughs and many others of the Beat Generation, and Holmes calls himself Paul Hobbs. This is a different angle on the Beats because Holmes was married at the time, and the Beats seemed to use his place as a drop-in centre, somewhere to crash and drink and smoke tea, marijuana. And Holmes' view of them is unique because he doesn't live their lifestyle. He doesn't go on the road. And he's also married. They come in and out of his life. And quite often the feeling is that a lot of the time he doesn't really approve of them. His wife, Catherine, clearly doesn't approve of them in certain situations. There is a scene where Hart Kennedy or Neil Cassidy steals some petrol from a service station, and Catherine, the wife of John Clellon Holmes, is clearly very disturbed by it. In fact, Holmes portrays Hart Kennedy or Cassidy in nowhere near the same flattering light as did Kerouac in On the Road. I might be the odd person out here as well, but I don't really see Cassidy doesn't appeal to me at all as being a genuine person. Even in On the Road, he was constantly letting Kerouac down. But Kerouac hero worshipped him. He couldn't see that. He's a fast mover, Neil Cassidy, and he yells, "Go, go," and dances and smokes weed. But he lies and cheats and borrows money he never pays back. And he steals cars and treats women in a terrible fashion. But he's all action, all go. You have to give him that. The state of some of the people in Go is truly awful. The descriptions of how wiped out they get, and they go on unbelievable benders for days on end and trash themselves to almost serious damage. There's a famous quote from Ginsberg, who to me seems to be the only person apart from Holmes and his wife with a conscience, any sort of moral compass. Anyway, the quote is, "I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical and naked, dragging themselves through the Negro streets at dawn, looking for an angry fix." That's quite powerful, I think. In some ways I can relate to these guys because I remember at times when I was much younger driving around Sydney and Melbourne, even Darwin, and searching, looking to score, trying to find a connection. Only the drugs of choice were different. A lot of the book is Holmes and Ginsberg engaged in very deep conversation about the meaning of life and dreams and honesty and literature and poetry. And at times I found it a bit juvenile and annoying. But then I had to realize that this is America just in the post-war period. It's a very different time with different mainstream morals and values. Even On the Road now, if you read it, you think, well, what's the big deal? Because people travel all the time now. But at the time, it was a huge thing. And Go is fascinating because of that different angle, that different look at the beats. Holmes also admits in his introduction that the affair that he describes between Kerouac and his wife never happened. And maybe it was some kind of fantasy of Holmes because the scenes in the novel where he describes the affair are quite voyeuristic. and he encourages his wife to have the affair. That's in the novel, but in real life it never happened. Go isn't as poetic as On the Road. The language isn't as beautiful. Just take this quote from Couriac that Holmes uses in the introduction to Go. The only people for me are the mad ones, the ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time. And I can relate to that, not now, but in times now gone. And I sometimes think it would be alright to be mad again, not unlike the characters in Go. And check out the video of Jack Couriac on the Steve Allen show just below this.